I grew up hearing about Curacao as a place where people in the Caribbean went to buy goods and resell them, wholesale destination. And then I went to Curacao as a travel vacation. I was on Aruba, and then I said, let's go island hopping. Curacao is a Dutch colony, and most of those Dutch colony had Dutch enslavement as well as colonization. It still remains a Dutch colony. One of the parts of the Dutch culture you see in Curacao is where I stayed. It's a hostel that's like a resort. So there's a great travel culture that you can get affordable stuff. Here's the water. The beaches and are great. There's a beach I'm going to. They wanted people to pay, but I found a way on the beach without paying. Yeah, I'm big on finding, like, people should not pay to go to a beach. It's God's beach, nobody owns it. But this was a nice place to hang out. They also make money by renting the beach chairs, so why charge people? There's also like, it was more like a resort. Oh, the drinks on Curacao are so yummy. This food was more European, but it was also yummy, yummy, yummy. Another view of the same restaurant. Another view of the same restaurant. This is the me going down to the locals. Well, the local people in Curacao tend to not be, they're brown and black, and I really don't care. My support is for anybody who's struggling. So when I can't find black people, I find anybody who's struggling. Oh, that tamarind juice was everything. And this is me going to a distillery, and this distillery is historical. It's been in Curacao a long time, a Jewish Curacao connection. And that again, I did not pay, though the tours I paid. I talked to the lady and she said, oh, if you look at the tour yourself, you don't have to pay. So guess what? I didn't pay and I toured myself. And then, of course, I bought a drink. Oh, that was like a slushy, and that's also tamarind liqueur. It was amazing. I love the art on the wall. It's just such a Caribbean feeling. Nice pop of color everywhere. Blue Bay is also a gorgeous beach. There are so many gorgeous beaches, and you can take the bus to them. And the local people are so great. They're there to help you. Though I could not understand the language sometimes, they still figured out how to help me to get around. That's me having food served to me on Blue Bay. This is a nice Buddha on the Blue Bay beach. Seems something was damaged about it, so they had to have some kind of stop, and then I went back and took the bus. Most of these things, there's a trek for walking, but again, I love walking, and that's a part of the vacation for me, of just walking around in the area and seeing something and just feeling like you're a part of the local community. Oh, this was one of my favorites. Like, the turtles were so, at first I was afraid to play with them, but they were so amazing. um yeah, I don't know, it just gave me a deeply spiritual feeling playing with them. Like, these turtles live longer than we do most of the time. Just something holy and reverent about playing. So yeah, I loved Curacao for being able to interact with the turtles. And Mambo Beach is another resort like beach. Again, it's you're just there, and you can have as high a experience, as an expensive high end experience as you want, or just a low end experience. It's near a mall also, and the drinks were everything. They're cold, they're right amount of sweetness, little alcohol, just right amount of everything. But yeah, So yeah, that you can tailor the vacation to how you want it. This is the floating market. As usual, I love to go and support local people. And the floating market, people come from different islands to come and sell their food there, and it's just nice. I bought fish and I went home and cooked the fish, and I bought all kinds of vegetables. And yeah, most of the times you can't, and of course you have to pay cash. Most of the times I didn't understand what they were saying. Everybody understands money and being kind. So yeah, that's a really important part for me to spend. These are those blended smoothies. They have some name for it, but it's nice buying from the local people as well. And this is me taking home some goods that I bought in the market. And the hostels always have a place for you to cook. That's one of the markets that people would go and buy and sell from. I wasn't buying, selling anything, so wasn't looking for wholesale items. I got some guineps too. I love guineps. And then there's these pastry shops by the local people. I kept on going back until the lady knew me. Like these jelly donuts, and they're freshly made. Here's one I'm eating. It's like I take one on the bus with me to eat. Yeah, so you get to know people. There's some kind of art. There's a section that connects one section of the island to the next, and you had all kinds of art there. So that was a nice thing to watch, to observe. And the history is well documented. I was really on this when I was taking these pictures. I was walking over to go, which for me was the highlight, is go to this black museum on Curacao. And part of my problem with the museum was that it's an excellent museum, but I hated the fact that as a descendant of enslaved peoples whose history was being capitalized on by a white person, I had to pay the full rate to go in, and I don't think that should be done. I think that there should be a descendant of enslaved people price for any museum that documents this kind of history, because we are already not paid for the torture and not repaid for the trauma that was done to us. That I think, yeah, should be a rate for us. It's either very low or free. I loved in the museum how they didn't just start at enslavement. They started out in Africa when black people were free, when black people had rich cultures and craftsmanship, music, great family life. Because a lot of times when we talk about Caribbean history, we start where we start. We start at slavery, and that becomes like the only story we have. Like, no, before we were here, we were somewhere, and we were amazing people doing amazing things. Not perfect people, because nobody is perfect and no one has to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect to be treated like a human being. But we had real lives, great sense of community, great cultures, and I love that the museum dealt with that before coming to the harsh part of enslavement. There's something also remaking model. There's the steps down into what would have been a slave ship, and I really felt sad and really small inside that, like, oh wow, can you imagine being in that space? Can you imagine the ancestors? But I also loved how the museum did not stop in defeat but start in triumph. So we see African Americans like who are doing positive things, who are fighting against this oppressive system. So yeah, I really love the museum, but I'm still protesting the price.